Hey everyone, this is Black KDK-1 and welcome back to my channel. Now if I ask you guys what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Kodiak? Probably autocannon spam and PPC Gauss, and easy 1000 damage games followed by nerf after nerf until the chassis is no longer the best mech out there. You're thinking about the Kodiak 3, which since the introduction of the Kodiak 2 years ago, was really the only variant that people cared that much about. The KDK-1, 2, and 5 were always in the 3 shadow, since they don't have the high mounted hardpoints that made the 3 so fearsome. Even I never did any videos on Nun 3 variants, which is symbolic of how neglected these mechs are. But as a clan 100-ton battle mech with lots of hardpoints, they were customizable fairly fast for their weight and carried big alphas, putting them easily on the upper half of the clan mechs in MWO. So today we're going to look at one of these ignored variants, the 1. If the KDK-1 has an extra ballistic hardpoint on the left torso instead of these missile hardpoints, people would be asking for the KDK-1 to be nerfed just as much as a 3. It's interesting to me how one hardpoint can make a world of difference to a mech. But primarily what we have to work with is the 9 energy hardpoints and a single ballistic. The 2 missile hardpoints are pretty useless, except for if you intend to troll your own team. If that's the case, you can put some LRMs on them and guarantee that one of your teammates will complain about your build every single match. For the 9 energy hardpoints on the KDK-1, there's no realistic way to use them all without breaking them into 2 groups, so you have to look at them as options rather than having to use them all. The left arm hardpoints are something to consider avoiding because in order to use them you have to move way out of cover. One option that does not use the left arm weapons is right stack laser gauss setup. This build runs with good heat efficiency and gives you a left shield side when you need it. But a 60 point alpha is pretty modest for a clan assault and can be achieved on a clan 65 tonner as well, so for me it feels like I'm not using the full potential of this mech. This build now feels like a true assault at an 81 point alpha size. If we're going to use the left arm hardpoints, it has to be worth the exposure, so that alpha is sufficient for that purpose. This build would pretty much outtrade anything that is not a Direwolf, Kodiak, or Mad Cat Mark II at mid-range. We have all of our lasers arm mounted such that they can be aimed quickly. This gets around one of the main problems with clan assaults, which is a slow torso speed. Looking at the right side of the mech, the 2 LPLs, 2 ERMLs, and Gauss gives us 53 points of damage, which is a respectable right side peak. This set of weapons are useful for when I'm in DPS mode and I'm taking shots every 5 or 6 seconds. In that amount of time, the number of DHS we have on here is enough to keep the right side weapons from overheating your mech. In the solo queue where teams tend to NASCAR a lot, I think you'll find this to be more useful than the 81 point alpha. Before I show you the skill tree for this build, I'll quickly mention the single heatsink option that people are probably curious about since the SHS buffs. The maximum alpha you can get without triggering ghost heat is 78, which is worse than the laser gauss build that I just showed. It also isn't as good from the sustained DPS perspective, since the Gauss rifle provides pretty much heat-free damage. SHS is a legitimate option when you have an assault mech that can only boat energy, like most Supernova variants, but in this case we have a ballistic hardpoint, so SHS is not helpful. In the skill tree we're focusing on heat gen, durability, heat management, and 60% of radar depth. If you like lower laser duration, I take off the 3 durability nodes here, and move them over to the firepower tree. If you've seen my videos before, you also know that I don't use consumables to save C-bills, but if you're C-bill wealthy, I'd go ahead and get double cool shots at the minimum. Okay, let's get into a match. The next match we're on Canyon Network, which is a pretty good map for this build. It's a mid-rangey map, and if there happens to be a NASCAR around the center circle here, the center rock, then the right side peak option is going to be very helpful for us. You'll also see that in that situation where I was kind of walking towards the rock and potentially shooting a target on my right side or my left side, the arm mounted weapons can be very helpful. I can kind of walk towards the rock and shoot at my my left on my sides at the same time. But this position is kind of open, so I'm open to getting lurmed like that. So I'm gonna move out of the way. Well, that javelin isn't fast enough to avoid getting legs, so gets taken down by our team there. Nice shooting. You also notice that a full alpha takes us from 0 to 60-something% of our heat capacity. So use that sparingly. The build cools fairly quickly, so you'll be able to use it Not quite a bit, but occasionally. So when you see you're at base heat or something like 20% heat, go ahead and just alpha. So now we're at the position where you know, we kind of see that nice slanted slope on that rock, which exposes our right side lasers and the Gauss rifle pretty much perfectly. So we get that. We're starting to use that right side peak option. And it takes a lot of shots to take down something like an awesome. So that DPS option is quite nice. So you see right here, I'm pretty much taking shots once every, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, something like that. And if I have longer to cool, then I just alpha. The right side peak option with the 4 lasers and the gauze is still not heat neutral, so you do have to cool down once in a while. The enemy team is kind of stuck in a really bad position here. There's 4 mechs at this moment down here, getting shot down at. Not very good. I never like getting trapped in this position. So if you're playing Canyon Network, be sure to try to get out of this position as soon as you can, and just don't even get down there. Just walk across, that D5 upper level, and you'll be safe. You'll be safer. Pretty comfortable lead, 7-5. Take another alpha at that roughneck. Pretty much cored him out. We'll let others handle that guy, but now we're gonna focus on the Sleipnir. Interesting build. LBX-20 medium laser. I wonder why he just doesn't go for heavy loss, but anyways, that's his build. Just trying to leg that. Try to leg that Shadowcat, but I think someone else got his leg instead. Anyways, I didn't do too much after that, so I'm just gonna forward to the end screen. And I think we did pretty well there. And given all the firepower, you'll see pretty good matches out of this mech once in a while. Well, guys, if you have a KDK-1 in your mech base and you haven't played it for a while, I think it's worth taking it out again to see how it's changed with the skill tree. I never see people take this mech out anymore, and hopefully this video will help you understand where it's at right now. Okay, if you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell buttons, and I will see you next time.